streamers! Hello everyone, it's your Cryptid Fangy here. I hope you all are having a good Wednesday so far. And thank you for your patience. I know I had to delay stream today. But I am full of energy now. Rah! I'm charged up. Charged up on naps and puppy cuddles. Let's see here. JD, congrats on first. Ironbite, congrats on third. Ariel, congrats on second. Oh, the pupper got some pets, and the cryptid got some washing. I really didn't need that. I really didn't. I took a bath right before stream, I promise. The fursuit was freshly cleaned and ironed. We are playing Bad End Theater today, which I've had for a while, but I've never played it. I think it's a little short game, but I think we're just collecting like bad endings. I think it's got a lot of bad endings in it, which I kind of already do when I play visual novels. I like seeing all the ways I can die, like in Long Live the Queen and stuff like that. So, we'll see. I feel like I'll be good at this. Welcome to Bad End Theater. On this stage, we shall be toying with fate. You'll make made choices, unlocking darker and darker paths, all in order to witness a lovely variety of tragic events. But first, allow me to explain how it works. To begin the tutorial, select whichever doll you like. This is kind of like Antlers. You are the demon doll. Okay. You control the demon doll. You're a fierce-looking guy just minding your own business. How will you interact with the human doll? I'm gonna play nice. You try to make friends with the human doll, but it kills you in cold blood. How ruthless! Ah, darn those humans! You found your very first bad ending, but don't worry, the story need not end here. Let's reset the stage and try again. This time, try controlling the other doll. You control the human doll. You're a friendly little guy, just minding your own business. How will you interact with the demon doll? You and the demon doll are able to set aside your differences and become friends. Why, this isn't a bad ending at all. I should have written out this possibility. It's just not suited to my theater whatsoever. Well, now that you know how the story goes, you can set the doll's behavior in advance. As you just saw, these behaviors will automatically be set to what you chose during your last playthrough. Oh? Huh? So it carries over between playthroughs? And now you can turn each one on or off without having to replay from the doll's perspective. Yes, my theater actually doubles as a puzzle game. Now, try turning the doll's behavior on and off to see the different outcomes. So, human doll hostile. You control the human doll, okay, wait. How do I how do I turn them off? Okay, attack it. It says set the doll's behaviors before. Oh, I see. It's a toggle. Okay. I see. Oh no! Alright, I get it. A glove, thank you, Fry. The bad end for Fangy is being forced to tell the truth about her yawns and having her fursuit washed regularly, while being forced to play shapes in that one Rhythm Heaven level. Fangy's personal hell. Do I understand how to play? Maybe. This game saves your progress automatically, so just relax and collect all the bad endings at your own pace. Now, without further ado, let's start the show. It says they're all locked. Okay, so I gotta pick one. If I pick a maiden, then I won't be maidenless. You are a maiden. You live in a peaceful village next to a spooky demon overlord's castle. You're told that you're fated to be captured by the overlord one day because you are a beautiful young girl. Demon overlords apparently love capturing those. You think of how you haven't heard of that actually happening to anyone, but maybe the demons just haven't been given the opportunity? Who knows? You are in church. You pray to your god, asking why you have been born into this role of maiden. You respect the divine plan and all, but you're really just curious as to what the point of it is. you are impatient. Meeting a demon actually sounds pretty gosh darn exciting. Maybe you'd understand your role better if you were to just hurry up and get captured already. You leave a note and venture forth to find a demon, just to, see what happens. Oh, hi Matt, hello. Good afternoon. Hello Lee, hello. He says I haven't seen this game in a long time. This is my first time playing it. Yeah, it's been out for quite a while. Not long into your little adventure, a demon underling appears before you. It looks pretty scary. I'll introduce myself. You tell the demon your name and explain that you're a maiden from the village. The demon suddenly jumps you and starts biting. A lot. How painful. This plan of yours was completely stupid. You think, why couldn't you have been more patient? Why did you go looking for trouble? You're not angry or anything, of course. This was all your fault, for trusting a demon not to devour you on sight. This is your punishment for questioning fate, you guess. Bit by bit, you're swallowed by the demon until you are no more. I see, so it's the freering kind of demon. Consumed maiden end. Well, that was very quick. Let's try again. Hi TP, hello. We're doing good, but I got eaten by a demon. And this time, I'm gonna shout for a hero. You yell, but a hero does not come. No! Oh no! No matter what, I get eaten? Oh. Okay, what if I play the demon and I don't eat me? You're a demon underling, in service of the Overlord. You're not particularly strong, but not particularly weak either. Well, that's just what your friends tell you. Your job is to guard the castle and keep humans away. It's unbearably boring. Heroes rarely come all the way here to challenge the Overlord anyway. It's a lot of standing in one place, staring into nothing. You feel like you're gonna go crazy if you don't get a break, so you decide to ask the Overlord for a day off. She gives you an earful about responsibility and unquestioning obedience. You wait for her to finish her lecture before returning to your post. But what does she know about anything? Who made her the boss of everyone? You complain about the Overlord to your friends. They agree that she's kind of a snob and totally deserves to be kicked off her throne. Well, you only wanted to vent your frustrations, but the conversation somehow turned into an assassination plot. You should probably steer this in a responsible direction. Let's not. You tell your friends that you were totally not serious about this whole thing. You're actually cool with the status quo. After all, life must be pretty dang good if the only thing you have to complain about is that you live so comfortably that there's nothing to do. The others nod but don't seem convinced. You see, a coup d'etat would be more effort than it's worth. But you're still gonna be a rebel and sneak out of the castle. Your friends praise your mischievous ways. The change of atmosphere excites you. You spend some time rolling around in the grass, wild and free. As you make your way along the path to the nearby human village, you encounter a maiden. She seems very frightened and screams for a hero to come save her. You consider your options. I'm gonna tell her to stop. When the maiden realizes you're not gonna hurt her, she regains her composure. Now she started talking to you like you're friends or something. You don't understand humans at all. You speak the same language, of course, which has always confused you because, but why is there conveniently only one language in this world? If demons and humans have independent societies, wouldn't it make sense for them to each have their own language? The maiden's going on and on about some kind of destiny that she's trying to fulfill. The bottom line from what you gather is that she wants you to take her to the Overlord. It sounds like it could be interesting. Besides, you have nothing better to do. Satisfied with your day out, you take the maiden back to the castle and present her to the Overlord. The Overlord asks where you found this maiden, knowing full well that you left the castle when you weren't supposed to. You apologize for disobeying her, but hope that the maiden's an interesting enough present that you may be forgiven. The Overlord nods and says everything's cool as long as you always listen to her from now on. She's pretty chill. You're impressed with what an easygoing boss she is. You mention how you can't believe you and your friends ever considered overthrowing her. She gives you a look and you say, well, that was a joke, of course. She smiles and dismisses you. You decide it's about time for a nap. After a few hours of sleep, you're rudely awakened by the sounds of battle. You emerge from your room to find that a hero has slaughtered many of your friends and work associates. What a jerk. Save myself. You look around at the lifeless forms of those you've known as far back as you can remember. You feel glad not to be in their shoes. You also feel guilty to be thinking about that as you flee the castle, until you remember your role, not as an underling, but as a demon. This kind of thing is expected of you. Well, maybe you'll start a new life, far away from any humans or demons. Where you'll live peacefully alone, in some deep, dark forest somewhere. Deserter underling. That could have gone worse. Should we reset the stage? Be hungry or disloyal? Let's see. I'll make her polite this time. Let's see what happens if I eat the meat. Oops. No, I was gonna eat her. Okay, here we go. Nom 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 nom. Maidens aren't the best meal, but you figure you should live up to your demon name and strike back against the humans. You start devouring the maiden without so much as a second thought, and you feel quite proud of that. Other humans would surely praise you with curses if they were around to see. Oh man, if only someone could have been watching. Time to find an audience for your evil deeds. You wander into the nearby village. Yummers. Hi Jam, hello hello. Onto a club club. The people are screaming and running away, throwing rocks at you and whatnot. You think that's pretty rude of them. You haven't even done anything yet. It shows a skull if it's gonna be a bad end, but don't I want to collect the bad ends? You attack the nearest human. He is old and weak, and his bones crunch delightfully. Your audience's screams grow louder. Applause! You think, hey, this is actually pretty fun. I should have taken revenge like this a lot sooner. As you continue your bloodthirsty dance, striking the villagers down, you fail to notice a sword-wielding hero running towards you. He takes you out in one swift blow. Well, you're just a demon underling after all. As you die, you think, that was totally worth it. The curtain closes. Performer underling. I see, I see. What happens if we overthrow the overlord? Them says congrats on the correct link today. Yeah. I actually linked to my channel yesterday instead of Ariel's. Alright, mutiny! No, you're sick of this overlord holding you and your friends back. You agree that it's time for a change of management. Your friends suggest that maybe you should be the new overlord. You like the sound of that. You announce your first act of rebellion is to take the day off like you wanted. Your friends aren't very impressed. You assure them you'll talk more about the assassination thing when you get back, which satisfies them. You sneak out of the castle to have some fun. Alright. Let's bring her back with me. Let's see. Are we not gonna help overthrow her this time? Oh, it's the hero again. Alright. Who does this guy think he is, coming in here and killing everyone like some maniac? What did we ever do to him? You lunge at him while he's busy driving a sword into the guard, who sometimes brought you food whenever they noticed you were feeling kind of down. You like that guard. You wish with all of your demon heart for this hero to suffer for his deeds. You bite into him, tearing flesh from bone. It tastes like iron. The hero struggles. You feel his sword go through you, but there's no pain, only retribution. More of your comrades pile onto him as your consciousness fades. The hero's overtaken. Your army has won. You've earned your rest. Victorious underling. Do I not actually get to become the overlord then? Darn. I know she's barking. Cinder! She's out in the living room by herself. I don't have the window open or anything, so she shouldn't be like barking at any noises. Okay, we'll make the maiden polite, the underling won't be hungry, and then we'll play as the hero. You are the hero. You like to think of yourself as a pretty reliable and swell guy. Your life has been rather ordinary aside from the occasional heroic adventures, fighting evil monsters and whatnot. You're told that a maiden from your village has been kidnapped, and is likely being held captive at the nearby demon overlord's castle. Who even puts a village right next to where an entire demon army hangs out? You don't get it. But you're happy to protect the townspeople. You were born to play this role. You head off on your adventure to rescue the maiden. But demon soldiers block your path. You could kill them to gain experience. Bravely slaughter. You make quick work of the vile creatures who stood in your way. You feel much stronger now. On your way to the Overlord's castle, you spot a maiden heading back towards the village. She couldn't have come from the Overlord's castle, could she? Well, this might be the exact maiden you're currently seeking to rescue. You approach her with curiosity, and she runs from you for some reason. You wonder what that's all about, but then you remember you're covered in demon blood. Oops. Imagura! Hello, hello! Not wanting to look like you're a crazy person chasing after her or anything, you nonchalantly walk back to town. As you walk past the town square, you notice the whole village is crowded around. Well, is that the maiden you saw earlier? She's bound to a wooden stake, and the crowd is in a frenzy. Smoke begins to rise, and you stand idly by as flames consume the maiden. She must have done something horrible to deserve that. You decide to call it a day and return to your house, but you can't escape this sinking feeling. Maybe you weren't cut out for this role. Spectator hero. Oops. Ba-dum-bum, ba-dum-bum. Okay, this time I won't kill the demons. Bum-ba-dum. Flee like a coward. Forgetting your pride, you escape with your life. But you can't return home now. Your reputation will be ruined. You wonder how you'll ever be able to rescue that maiden all on your own, if you can't even fight some lousy demon underlings. You'll take your chances at the castle. You're a hero after all, this is your job. On your way to the castle, you spot a maiden. Let's see. You ask the maiden what she's doing. Doesn't she know the Overlord's castle is like right there? It's dangerous. The maiden explains that she spoke with the Overlord, and it turns out that the demons never had any diabolical plans to harm the village or anyone in it. Let's do the bad ending first. She can't be trusted. You aren't sure you should listen to this maiden. You've been taught your whole life that demons are evil. You ask if she's sure about all this, but she gets very upset that you think she would lie to you. She storms off before you can say anything else. Well, you decide to return to the village, certain that she must mean the kidnapped maiden you were sent to rescue. Glad that took care of itself. You take your time walking home. Job well done today, you think to yourself. Alright, so I assume this is the spectator ending A? Alright. Smoke begins to rise and you stand idly by as the flames consume the maiden. She must have done something horrible to deserve that. She seemed nice though, you think. But evil comes in all forms, you reassure yourself. You decide to call it a day and return to your house. You can't escape the sinking feeling that maybe you aren't cut out for this role. Hi, kitty! Yeah, Lee, I thought it was confusing too, because I thought she ran back towards the castle, but I guess she was running away from the castle? This game looks familiar? This is Bad End Theater. It's my first time playing it. Bum bum bum. Bum bum. Bum bum. Do do do. Do do do. Okay, we'll flee. You'll believe her story. You have no reason to assume that she's lying to you, even though her story's kind of hard to believe. You feel you should trust her. You tell her that you're pretty surprised that everyone's been wrong about demons all along. The townspeople must be informed of this immediately. The two of you return to the village. They'd all been so worried, and they praise you for your bravery. But the maiden quickly sets the record straight. I'm gonna get burnt at the stake too, aren't I? There was nothing she needed to be rescued from in the first place. The villagers look to you for an explanation. You politely inform them that it isn't your story to tell. You merely ran into her on her way to the castle. She explains that the Overlord isn't interested in capturing maidens or anything of the sort. The villagers turn to you again in disbelief. They aren't being subtle in how little they trust this maiden's story. You totally believe her, but to placate these fair citizens, you volunteer to speak to the demons personally just in case. The crowd breaks into hushed whispers. You're too busy thinking about what a great and reliable hero you are to hear what they're saying. The town elder's voice breaks you out of your thoughts. He implores you to meet with the Overlord immediately, and says they'll all keep an eye on the maiden until you return. You figure that sounds alright, but the mood is kind of intense for some reason. Did you miss something? You aren't sure what's going on, but you get the feeling that it might be bad to leave the maiden on her own. But she suddenly takes off running. Oh, you thought the two of you were in this together. Her actions have convinced the crowd that she's obviously been a liar and a witch from the start. People are shouting for you to hunt her down, and her demon friends. That doesn't sound like a very heroic task. You can't help but feel these people are wrong. It's up to you to catch up to her, and talk to the demons in order to clear up this misunderstanding. You valiantly dash after the maiden toward the Overlord's castle. He says, having fun so far? Yeah! It's just like a quick little, visual novel that we can, speedrun endings in, and we're trying to get them all. But you were too late. Through the unguarded gates, you spot a group of demons surrounding a body. The maiden, she was a fool to have trusted the demons after all. Your hero blood is boiling. You'll avenge her death. You charge through the gates to eliminate every demon you see. What the heck are you doing killing all my soldiers? The Overlord's angry. You vow to exterminate her and all of demonkind. You clash again and again, but the Overlord isn't going down easily. You're both dangerously low on health when everything goes black. Your quest has come to an abrupt end. Unlucky hero. So he was disloyal, but not hungry. If he was disloyal, I wonder why he attacked me. You'd think that he would help me kill the Overlord. What happens if you're dutiful and trusting? Is that even possible? I don't know if that's possible, right? Because if you kill the demon, she runs away from you, doesn't she? But maybe you can unlock options that originally weren't available? I wonder if I go back to the maiden now, if there's gonna be something new that we can unlock. Mario Pixie Raid? Oh? Hello, Scott. Hello, hello. Were Mario and Pixie playing something? They got hit with a bot raid. Oh no! Ah, heck. I didn't know people were still doing that stuff. That sucks. What were Pixie and Mario? Oh, a media share? Like they were watching something? What were they watching? Let me try the Overlord. You are the Overlord. You live in a castle surrounded by the demon servants. It's a pretty cushy life, you think. Well, except for those pesky humans who keep killing members of your army. Oh, videos submitted by Mario's chat? I see, I see. My friend Spiky does something like that too. Where people submit videos to try and make him laugh and things like that. Yeah, darn pesky humans. They're the worst. No offense. There's even a role called the hero, whose whole purpose in life is to just dethrone you. What's their deal anyway? You've actively avoided making the humans mad in hopes they'll leave you and your army alone, but they never do. You're still new to the whole Overlord thing if you're being quite honest with yourself. You don't really understand the politics. But you remind yourself that everyone's just doing their best to fulfill their roles. You won't let them bait you into being the evil overlord they expect. You think that you're pretty cool and mature to hold yourself to a higher standard like that. One of your underlings walks into your room, totally interrupting your thoughts about how awesome you are. They're saying something about how boring it is to stand in one place guarding the castle all the time, especially since no one ever comes here anyway. You see their point, but the way they're whining about it kinda bothers you. What to do with this underling? I will grant them the day off. You tell them to go take a break from the stifling castle atmosphere and refresh their dark soul. A day off should be fine every once in a while. They thank you and happily scurry off to do who knows what. You have nothing better to do today, so you decide to nap for a little while. Being the overlord sure is great. You awake to a knock on your door. The underling from earlier brought back some company. It's a maiden from the nearby human village. She says her role is to be captured by you. The maiden then goes on to say that she's been getting very impatient, thinking about her impending capture, so she's come here to speed things along. You appreciate her honesty, but regret to inform her that you never had any plans to capture any humans. She seems very disappointed by this. Perhaps I'm not performing my role well enough. How can I become more maiden-like? You don't really understand the question. You think this world puts way too much focus on destiny and junk. Just go home and stop worrying about it, you tell her. The maiden seems to be having a hard time wrapping her head around this. She insists that she stay and talk to you more. You feel warm inside as she looks into your eyes. This is the first time a human has looked at you without contempt. You wonder what to say. Let's let her stay for a while. You can't bring yourself to send this maiden away. She just got here. You enjoy a nice long chat with her, sharing stories about your kind. She expresses her surprise that demons are not at all what she expected them to be. You're glad that she seems to have an open mind about these kinds of things. You also bring up how you always instruct your army to avoid humans, as not to agitate them and get heroes sent out after you. Well, that explains why the people of my village have been left unharmed. It's because of your orders, isn't it? We're very grateful. You're surprised to hear her thank you. You've always thought of humans to be violent and unreasonable. That's why your servants are always getting killed despite your efforts to leave them alone. But this maiden is different. You joke that maybe you've been lying to her this whole time, and that you were actually super evil all along. The maiden laughs at that, saying she wouldn't mind being held captive here. The people in her village are a little exhausting at times, she says. You can't tell if she's into you or not. You notice that the sounds of battle have started ringing out through your castle halls. The maiden's getting nervous, but you reassure her it's only your underling's roughhousing. No big deal. You know it's probably a hero, but you don't want to upset the maiden by telling her that. Your army will take care of it. Well, it isn't long before the hero bursts into your room. But he shouldn't have made it here. Why didn't they stop him? The hero just stands there unsure of himself. He is covered in demon blood. As the maiden speaks to him trying to explain the situation, you move past the hero and out the door. You're not thinking clearly. Seeing your servants' bodies in pieces all strewn about your castle is really taking it out of you. That hero did this? There's so much blood. Why? Did he come for the maiden? Did he think she needed rescuing? There was no one for this hero to save here. There was never any harm meant to anyone. You were just talking to her. Why has it turned out like this? The hero starts babbling insincere apologies and excuses, realizing his wrongdoing, but you're far beyond hearing this kind of BS. You've had it with these humans always murdering your servants for no reason. You can no longer hold yourself back and lash out at the hero. When you regain control, there's nothing left of the hero, and the maiden has fled in terror. You're alone. Wrathful Overlord. Hey, Insomniarch! There's gotta be some way for us to get a Yuri ending, right? Up, up, up. Up, up, up. I want to try playing as the maiden again. And see if we can do more now. You tell the demon your name and explain that you're a maiden from the village. You tell them that you were thinking maybe you could understand your role better if you were to hurry up and get taken away by a demon already. The demon doesn't seem to have really been listening to you, which is a little irritating. They agree to take you to their master nonetheless. After a long walk to the castle, you're introduced to the Overlord. You explain why you've come, and she squints at you. It turns out she never had any plans to capture maidens, or to do anything else that would agitate the humans. You wonder for a moment if she might be lying, but it doesn't really seem like it. Well, still, this doesn't make any sense to you. You've always been told that demons would one day seek you out, and something awful would happen, and then a hero would come to your rescue. You don't want to believe that you've been lied to all along. Maybe it's just that you haven't been maiden-like enough. You ask the Overlord what you should do to be more a suitable maiden, but she doesn't seem to understand. Just go home and stop worrying about destiny so much. She makes it sound so simple. This Overlord seems like the complete opposite of you. You want to learn more about her and how she thinks. You insist on staying to talk with her more. The Overlord shares many stories about demons with you, and little by little you realize they might not be the ruthless monsters you were raised to believe. As it turns out, she commanded demons to avoid towns and villages. She didn't want to risk giving the humans any excuse to send a hero out after them. You realize that must be why you've never heard of any demons attacking your town. You express your gratitude to the Overlord on behalf of your village. She says you can thank her by telling the humans to stop raising heroes. She's tired of her servants getting killed off by them. You've always thought that demons were violent, unreasonable creatures, but it seems the Overlord could say the same of humans. You may be different, but really they're just trying to live their lives the same as you. You feel like you're starting to understand things a lot better. But maybe everything I've said was to deceive you and the other humans. What would you do if I turned out to be super evil all along? Even if she were to capture you now, you think this place is far more interesting than the way things are back home. You kind of like not being told to expect demons to come after you all the time. You feel free. Honestly, you've always kept to yourself, but spending time with this Overlord's been very nice. You feel butterflies in your stomach. Well, as you think that, a hero enters the room. You're surprised to see him at first until you realize he must have been sent to retrieve you. Confused, the hero asks you what's going on. You explain the situation, reassuring him that you were never in any danger. The hero expresses his relief that this whole misunderstanding hadn't led to any horrible consequences. You apologize for causing trouble, but really, didn't anyone read the note you left? Jeez. The hero asks if you'll return to the village with him to give everyone the news of your safety. The Overlord allows the two of you to leave, and you give her a little wave as you exit the room. You'll be back soon. Near the castle's entrance, you spy a group of suspicious demons congregating. They're talking about assassinating the Overlord. You have to warn her! But the hero shakes his head. He says that if this is the true nature of demons, the world is better off with less of them. Well, this isn't right, you think? What kind of hero passes up the chance to save a life? The demons have taken notice of you. It's now or never. You take off into the castle and the unreliable hero follows shortly after. You burst into the Overlord's room, all your words spilling out at once. You should probably slow down, but there's no time. The Overlord seems to have followed your frantic explanation, but clearly doesn't understand the urgency of the situation. The underling you recognized from before barges in, calling you a liar. You're surprised they were a part of this evil plot. They seem so nice. The other demons come in right after them, saying the whole thing was the first underling's idea. Everyone's shouting at each other now, and it's really stressing you out. You're relieved when the Overlord demands silence. She threatens them with violence, and you think she's very Overlord-like in this moment. The group of demons hiss to each other before shutting the door, leaving the little one behind. You watch as it pounds on the door in distress. Have they locked you all in? You have a bad feeling about this. And thinking that must have jinxed it, because now the room is engulfed in flames. If only you'd ignored those demons before, you and the hero wouldn't have stumbled into this situation. If you just pretended not to hear them, if you left as you were told, only the Overlord would have been killed. But you couldn't have done that. That path isn't an option for you. You think that no matter what, you'll always strive for the path where everyone survives. It must exist. It simply must. The Overlord seizes her underling, and they beg for their life. You pray. You don't know what else to do, so you just pray. The Overlord's claws pierce the underling's chest. They scream an awful scream. She digs and twists her claws into the poor thing while you continue to pray. But there's no saving any of you now. You, the Overlord, the hero, and the underling's corpse are all consumed by flames. Devout maiden. Bum, bum, bum. The But that's because the underling was disloyal. If I make it so that he's not disloyal, will it go differently? Boop boop boop. Boop boop boop. Skip. Introduce ourselves. Meow. Oh? Okay, so the hero asks us to return to the village with him. The Overlord allows the two of you to leave, and you give her a little wave as you exit the room. You'll be back soon. You're about halfway back to the village when you feel something is off. Unable to shake your concern, you look back over your shoulder. You stop in your tracks, and the castle's engulfed in flames. Is the Overlord alright? You can't return to the village like this, you have to know. You have to be sure that everyone's safe. You've already taken off before the hero can even think of stopping you. You scan the fleeing demons, but the Overlord isn't among them. Against your better judgment, you rush into the burning castle to find her. You quickly reach the Overlord's room, but the door is shut tight, and the handle's too hot to touch. You're too weak to force it open. You pound your fist against the door helplessly. What were you thinking? This is all because you'd forgotten your role. Only a hero could pull this kind of thing off. You start to cough. The smoke is too thick and you can hardly breathe. You realize you haven't got much time now. You desperately head towards the stairs to save yourself. But the fire spread faster than you expected, and you won't make it outside. You can't help but laugh. What a joke. A maiden saving the Overlord? If you just stayed true to your role, things wouldn't have ended like this. This is exactly the punishment you deserve. You let the demon fire cleanse your rotten soul. Okay, let's try different options for the Overlord this time. Alright, let's be a tyrant. You give them a lecture about responsibility and unquestioning obedience. Your servants ought to do what they're told, whether they like it or not. They look really unhappy with you, but you're sure they'll thank you for this later. Venturing too far from the castle tends to spell death. You dismiss the underling and lie down in your nice and comfy Overlord bed. All that lecturing made you want to take a nap. You fall asleep pretty quick, just another one of your amazing talents as the Overlord. You awake to a knock on your door. The underling from earlier brought back some company. You thought you told that underling to do their job, not drag strangers into your room? It looks like they took an unauthorized break away from the castle. You scold them, but ultimately you're a little interested in this guest. So you let them off easy. That underling's not so bad. It's a maiden from the nearby human village. She says her role is to be captured by you. The maiden then goes on to say that she's been getting very impatient thinking about her impending capture, so she's come here to speed things along. I'm gonna fast forward. Should we let her stay still? Or should we tell her to go home? I feel like if we let her stay, it's gonna be the same ending as before. No? Maybe not. You're interrupted by another human in your doorway. This time it's a hero. He was apparently searching for the maiden who was rumored to have been captured by your kind. Captured? Not at all. I only wanted to meet with the Overlord. Didn't anyone read the note I left behind? After everything's explained, the hero expresses his relief. This whole misunderstanding hadn't led to any horrible consequences. The maiden apologizes for causing trouble, and the hero asks her to return to the village with him. Confusing feelings well up inside your heart. You're surprised that you had one of those to begin with. You don't want the hero to take this maiden away from you. Keep her here? The maiden came here to be captured by you, didn't she? You'll grant her wish. You tell the hero that you won't let him take her home. The maiden assures you she'll be back, but you don't budge. The hero is cautious now. If you won't let her go, well, maybe you demons are evil after all, and if you are, I'll be forced to vanquish you. You have no choice. You destroy the hero before he can steal your maiden away. She's frightened, but you don't understand why. Didn't she say she prefers this place to her village? Now she doesn't have to leave. You take a step towards the maiden, and she backs herself into a corner. You don't understand. She wanted to stay here with you. The hero was trying to get in the way of that, so you had to kill him. You'll be sure to keep the maiden very safe from now on. Selfish Overlord. We got the yandere ending. Boop, boop. Oh, they all have 3 traits. So weird that I haven't gotten more for the maiden. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. stay for a little while. Let them go. You're certain that she'll return to spend more time with you. You just have to trust in that, you decide. With the hero maiden gone, you plop down to the comfort of your luxurious overlord bed. Your room feels so empty now. Is this loneliness? You hope your new friend will be back soon. You close your eyes for a while, until your door slams shut. Before you know it, everything around you is being engulfed by flames. What's going on? You try to escape, but something's blocking the door. You're having trouble forcing it open. What is this? Someone didn't want you getting out. Are you being usurped? They have zero foresight. What castle will they rule from if this one burns? You don't believe that your underlings have betrayed you, but this is no accident. Those ungrateful jerks. You choke on the thick black smoke from the fire. You can't believe that you're being done in by a bunch of cowards. You'll see them in hell. Burned Overlord. Hey, Banana! How's the theater at the bad end going? Badly! We're getting lots of deaths. That's what we're supposed to do. Bup, bup, bup. Boop, boop, boop. Bup, bup, bup. Bup, bup, bup. What happens if he eats the maiden? Then what happens with the Overlord? You're awakened by one of your underlings. A hero wishes to speak with you. Where's John Chat? He's broken right now. I have to figure out how to fix him. Oh, my thingy died is very off-center. 1 second. It's very off-center. That's better, I think, right? I think that's a little better. Well, now it's too far to the right, actually. Maybe like here? Alright, that's pretty good. Yeah, I think so too, kitty. Thank you, thank you. Alright, the hero inquires about a maiden who was rumored to be here, but you've never seen her. Humans don't visit often, or ever, really. As the hero takes his leave, you wonder why he totally trusted you there. Heroes traditionally kill demons. This guy seemed like he was bad at his job, in your opinion. Well, whatever. You're still feeling sleepy, so you go right back to your nap. You hear voices in the hall, and you aren't sure how long you've slept. The sound of a shutting door forces you awake. Ah, so that's the same ending, the Burned Overlord. Bum bum bum. Ba ba ba. Bum bum bum. Ba ba ba. Doop doop doop. Let's try lots of different combinations. Alright, we're awakened again. The hero's here to inquire about the missing maiden. You tell him you don't know anything and humans don't really visit this place. He believes you and goes home. To your surprise, you figured he might have tried to fight you, but you're glad to get back to your nap instead. Until you wake up to something completely unexpected. One of your underlings is tearing your throat out. You try to struggle, but you can tell you're already mortally wounded. What have you done to deserve this kind of ending? You curse at them, choking on your own blood. You die wondering if you could have done anything to prevent this. Assassinated Overlord. Bup bup bup. Boop boop boop. Bup bup bup. Boop boop boop. Okay. Let's see. What should we try next? Boop boop doop. Boop boop. Bup bup bup. Let's try doing the hero again. Yum. Flee. Alright. After a long trek, you make it to the castle's front gates. You're faced with an army of demons that all look very intimidating. Yeah, the toggles are for when you're not playing the character. Yep. There's no way to sneak past these monsters if you want to reach the Overlord. Ask if they'll let me in. You go up to the nearest demon and explain why you've come here. They stare you down and you feel very uncomfortable. But they seem to trust you and escort you directly to the Overlord's chambers. Well, that was easy. The Overlord and Maiden seem to be in the middle of some casual conversation when you barge in. You all look at each other in surprise and confusion. This is no time to hesitate. You lunge forward, driving your blade through the evil Overlord. She screams and then falls silent. The Overlord has been slain. You smile, offering the Maiden your hand. She takes it after slight hesitation. She must be surprised at how strong you are. You escort the Maiden home. She's oddly quiet on the trek back to the village. Well, she must be too shy to speak. The villagers are very pleased with what a good job you've done, slaying the Overlord and saving a hostage. They throw a huge celebration in your name. You're remembered for generations as the greatest hero the village has ever seen. Triumphant hero. We don't like that though. No. Do. Boop boop bop. Do. Thank you for the rose, kitty. Alright, ask the Maiden. The Maiden explains that she was never actually captured and that she came here on her own volition. That was a pretty dangerous thing of her to do, but no one got hurt, so at least there's that. You ask her to return to town with you to reassure everyone of her safety. The Overlord allows the two of you to leave, and you casually exit the castle. You try to make conversation with the Maiden, but she's been pretty quiet since leaving the Overlord's room. Is she shy? She suddenly stops in her tracks, and you turn your head to ask what the deal is. Oh, the Overlord's castle is engulfed in flames. You can't help but feel relieved that you got the Maiden out of there when you did, but... She suddenly takes off towards the burning castle. Panic sets in and you follow to try and stop her. The smoke is so thick, you've already lost sight of her. What is she thinking? It's too dangerous to continue. You feel hopeless. You stand alone at the castle gates. Your body won't allow you to take another step forward. No, going in there would be suicide. You'll return to the villagers and tell them that there was nothing you could do. You were too late, and the Maiden was claimed by the demons. Bystander hero. Boop boop boop. Boop boop boop. Alright, there's gotta be something new with the underling. Alright, we ask for the day off. And the Overlord's surprisingly cool with it. Nice. You set out on your adventure outside the castle. The change of atmosphere excites you, and you spend some time rolling around the grass, wild and free. As you make your way down the path to the nearby human village, you encounter a Maiden. She greets you and says that she has a favor to ask. You consider your options. You're in a good mood today, and are rather curious about what the Maiden has to say. Humans don't usually talk to you, so this is kind of exciting. You hadn't guessed it would be even possible to understand each other before now. The Maiden's going on and on about some kind of destiny she's trying to fulfill. The bottom line from what you gather is that she wants you to take her to the Overlord. It sounds like it could be interesting, besides you have nothing better to do. Meow. The Maiden and the Overlord seem to be getting along just fine, so you decide it's about time for a nap. You don't get to sleep long, your friends wake you up. Rude. One of them is stepping on you pretty hard. You ask them what their deal is. They say they're planning a whole revolution. They're gonna get rid of the current Overlord and put a new ruler in place. They want to hear if you're in or out, and being a pretty lazy underling, you of course reply with, "That sounds like a lot of trouble. How about we just skip it instead?" Your friends question your loyalty to their cause. She's actually not so bad, you guys. Your friends seem pretty disappointed. They apologize to you, but before you can ask what they're sorry about, one of them suddenly seizes you. Someone who's still loyal to the Overlord really has no place in our castle, you understand, right? Their claws tighten around your neck. You don't bother to struggle, you're outnumbered. You already know how things like this end. This is a pretty messed up thing to do to a friend, you tell them. They slit your throat in response. Ariel says there's now adult meals, bigger sized Happy Meals with K-pop Demon Hunter theme. Oh, I kind of wanted to try the fries. I'm interested in the fries. Faithful underling. Doop doop doop. Boop boop bop. Boop boop boop. Doop doop doop. Bop bop bop. Nyum. Okay, let's kill the Overlord. You tell them you were just joking and clarify that you're totally in it to win it. They say you were always terrible with jokes. Whether or not you actually feel like killing the Overlord, you know how bad it'd be to end up on the wrong side of things. And if this assassination deal doesn't pan out, you can always pretend you were innocent all along. But beneath your shield of faux confidence, you worry about what you're getting yourself dragged into. You follow your friends outside the castle to talk more about the plan. You're curious if they have any idea how they want to go about this. They figured they'd just lock her in a room and set it on fire. What a stupid plan that could go wrong in so many ways. You realize your friends are just a bunch of directionless thugs, useless without someone's guidance. Your guidance. There'd probably be casualties if you fought her head on, and while showy deaths make a revolution a heck of a lot more fun, it's probably the wrong way to go. Your friends agree and suggest that you play the assassin. You really didn't want it to come down to this. But you can't back down now. You'll have to be the one to assassinate the Overlord. Besides, no one has any better ideas. You and your friends turn to notice a pair of humans that have overheard your entire conversation. They take off into the castle. Are they headed to the Overlord's room? Heck! The Overlord will kill you for sure if she found out that you were conspiring to take her out. You dash into the castle after the humans. Sure enough, the maiden's already frantically telling the Overlord everything. You shout that the humans are liars. Your friends soon arrive to back you up, except they don't. Instead, they blame the whole thing on you. They cried that it was all your idea, and that they were just going along with the flow, too scared to refuse your crazy plan. You can't believe they tell the Overlord such a blatant lie. You always knew better than to trust them. You're the one who didn't have a choice here. You all shout at each other until the Overlord demands silence. Regardless of who led this conspiracy, I have no choice but to punish everyone to keep you all in your place, crushed beneath my heel. She sounds tough, but lately all she does is sleep. You doubt her strength. You hear your traitor's friends mutter something about going back to Plan A, and suddenly the door slams shut. You're trapped in here with the Overlord and the two humans, and then the room bursts into flames. You pound on the door screaming curses at those who betrayed you. The hero joins you, vowing to slay the lot of them. You wish he'd get that chance. The Overlord grabs you by the throat as you cry out for mercy. You were forced into this mess. You're sure now that they would have killed you if you sided with her. But the Overlord doesn't hear your pleas. She drives her claws into your chest. Well, at least she made it quick. Bum bum. Bum bum. Bum bum. Kitty says, what if the maiden is not polite? Let's find out. Doop doop doop. Doop doop doop. Tell her to quit yelling. Okay, I think it doesn't change anything. Yeah, it doesn't seem to change anything. Which is weird, right? You would think it would have to have some effect. Doop doop doop. Boop bop. Boop boop boop. Oh, we're at 16 out of 41 endings. There's a lot more. We just gotta find them. Okay, maybe we do some murder. Do do do. Do do do. Alright, we kill these demons. Cut through the army. You gather your courage. This is what must be done in order to rescue the maiden. These are all evil demons anyway. The world is much safer with them gone. Well, that's what you tell yourself while you kill one after another on your way to the Overlord's chambers. You find the maiden being held captive by the Overlord just as you suspected. For some reason, you can't sense anything sinister happening. You all look at each other in surprise and confusion. This is no time to hesitate. Ask the maiden what's going on. She explains that she came here on her own and was never in any danger. She hesitantly asks you why you're covered in blood. You don't really know how to respond. The Overlord moves past you and out the door. To see your army in lifeless bloody piles. She's wailing. It's horrible. This is your chance, hero. This is all just a big misunderstanding. You hope that she'll let this whole thing slide if you could just explain yourself. You really try, but the Overlord's inconsolable. She tears you apart and the maiden watches in silence. As you die, you can't help but think that you probably deserve this. The tragic hero. Katie says, what if we turn all the toggles off? Every single one. But then who should we play as? Maybe all of them? Try all of them? Maiden? Alright, let's give it a shot. What should we go with? We'll shout. The demon is put off by your son shouting and asks you to keep it down. You apologize. They seem more confused and hostile, which totally catches you off guard. You tell the demon your name and explain that you're a maiden from the village. You tell them that you were thinking maybe you could understand your role better if you were to hurry up and get taken away by a demon already. The demon doesn't seem to have really been listening to you, which is a little irritating. They agree to take you to their master nonetheless. Noom. Eh? I guess that was an ending we already had. Oh yeah, we get set on fire. Doop doop doop. Doop doop doop. I wonder what the right way to go about this is. Doop doop doop. Wait, what if we kill these guys but we don't kill the ones in the castle? You attempt to explain why you've come to the castle, but the monster before you is eyeing you with suspicion. They can't help but notice the demon blood from earlier that you haven't had the chance to wash off yet. Oops. You have no choice but to fight the army in self-defense. Oh well, more experience points for you. You make your way through the castle, fending off all the demons that stand in your way. You make it to the Overlord's chamber and hope that you're still in time to save the maiden. Okay, ask the maiden what's going on. I guess we'll try stabbing the Overlord again? Or should we say it's a misunderstanding? Nope, nope, nope. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, bop. Doop, doop, doop. Doop, doop, doop. Doop, doop, doop. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, what if we do the maiden and we scream and then maybe the hero will come for us since we made him dutiful this time? No, he just never shows up. Okay. So we talk to the Overlord. But then a hero barges into the room. His clothes are stained by dark liquid. It's dripping from his weapon too. You realize it must be demon blood. Something horrible has happened. The hero suddenly dashes towards the Overlord, sword drawn. You can protect her? You selflessly throw yourself in front of the hero's blade, acting as a shield. It's funny, you think. You never could have imagined that this would be the way that you die. The roles are all switched around, but it feels right to you somehow. You're glad your destiny turned out to be saving someone rather than being saved yourself. As your vision fades, you hope that everything turns out alright for your new friend. Sacrificial Maiden. Boop boop boop. Let's be polite. Do nothing? The hero's blade pierces the Overlord and she lets out a horrible scream. You flinch. The Overlord is slain. The hero smiles and holds out his hand to you, saying it's time to go home. His glove is drenched in blood. Hesitantly, you take his hand. The hero guides you through the castle past the corpses of his enemies. You try to keep your eyes at your feet. There's blood everywhere. You shut your eyes, but even then you can't escape the smell. All of this was because of you, wasn't it? You exit the castle and the hero leads you back to the village. Everyone celebrates the hero's great triumph over the demons. You feel sick, but you take part in the festivities regardless. Complacent maiden. He says... Okay. If we okay the same toggles and play as the tyrant, we can see what goes down after? Okay, wait. Oh, okay. So we make her a martyr, and then we play as the overlord. Nice. Good thinking, kitty. Okay, let her stay. Why has it turned out like this? The maiden shouts something behind you. And you turn just in time to see her throw herself between you and the hero's blade. It pierces her chest and she falls to the floor lifeless. As the pool of blood beneath her grows, so does your rage. This hero has taken everyone from you now. You lose control, and the hero is obliterated. But your hatred for the humans has not yet been sated. You go on to destroy them all and become ruler of the entire world. Vengeful overlord, ooh. Do. Let's try a couple other little toggles, maybe? Tell them to get back to work. Let her stay. That ended the same way. Doop. You grant them the day off. I guess let's tell her she better go home? You'd love to have all the conversations in the world with your new friend, but having a human girl here will definitely cause trouble. You put on your mean face and tell her to get lost. But the maiden turns out to be very stubborn. You don't want to hurt her, but you also really want her to leave in case something bad happens. This whole situation is just asking for trouble, you think. Against your better judgment, you let her hang out for a little while longer. You enjoy a nice long chat with her, sharing stories about your kind. She expresses her surprise that demons are not at all what she expected them to be. You're glad that she seems to have an open mind about these kinds of things. Alright, we've seen this before. So that's the same. Alright, maybe let's play as the underling in this case? Okay, let's not overthrow her. Let's hear her out. Save ourselves? Will that take us to the end? That just takes us to the end? Ugh. Doop. Doop. Try again. Oh, excuse me. See, this is gonna lead us to die. It seems like his story always ends early. If the hero is dutiful. Let's turn dutiful off. Thank you, kitty. My nose feels a little tickly today. Okay, so we have to try and kill the Overlord again. Boop. Doop. What should we try combo-wise now? We only have half of the endings. If he's hungry, the maiden always dies, which kind of stops a lot of options. Doop. Boop bop. Boop. Okay, let's kill the Overlord. Yeah. Doop. So that never works. Boop boop bop. Boop boop boop. It's really hard to progress with the underling, isn't it? Okay. Wait. Here's something different. What in Fang Nation are we doing today? Hey Siri! We're playing Bad End Theater. It's a visual novel with like a bunch of different endings. And you're trying to like collect them all. And most of them involve us dying. Alright, so we can't back down now. You'll have to be the one to assassinate the Overlord. Besides, no one has any better ideas. You sneak into the Overlord's room. She's taking a nap like usual. Well, this is almost too easy. You silently approach your master. She looks so peaceful. Should we chicken out? Okay, so chicken out gets us... This will probably get us a different ending. You don't want to kill her. You can't go through with it. You turn to leave the room, but you find your friends blocking the exit. In a whisper, you ask them to let you out. Well, this seems to have been their way of testing your loyalty. You tell them this is pretty messed up and ask again to be let out. The Overlord stirs in her bed while your head is turned. The demon shut the door. You scramble into the Overlord's closet to hide before she wakes up and sees you. There's nothing you could possibly say to explain this and survive. You're trembling. You can't believe that those jerks would bully you like this. You feel like crying. Light flickers at your feet. It doesn't take you long to realize they've set the room on fire. You hear the Overlord trying to get the door open to no avail. You're both trapped. Too afraid to move, you resign yourself to your fate. You and the Overlord burn together. Dang. At least we found something different. Okay, we'll kill the Overlord. Time to die. You figured the cleanest way to do this would be to dig your claws into her throat, so you do just that. She wakes up but not in time to stop you. You watch as she chokes on her blood, cursing you before finally expiring. Well, that felt terrible. You remind yourself that it was either her or you, and you weren't about to let yourself get killed by anyone. You leave the room to find your friends waiting just outside. They look pleased. Only now do you realize they must have planned to use you like this from the beginning. Well, you're the new ruler of this castle. Your subjects bow before you. You live in fear that they'll one day betray you, as you betrayed your Overlord. Lord Underling. Boop boop boop. Boop boop boop. Doop doop doop. Alright, fast forward. Let's overthrow her. Get her out. Let's kill the Overlord. Time to die. Doop doop doop. Boop boop bop. Boop boop boop. What's this? Oh, it shows you a breakdown. So we have 5 out of 11 endings for the hero, 5 out of 11 for the maiden. We have most of the endings for the underling, actually. If I click on the... Oh, what's this? Wait a minute. Oh, okay, this is helpful. This tells you how to get new ones. Ah. Cool. What is this here, though? Looks like it's options that we haven't found yet. Boop, boop. Alright, let's try this one. So, dutiful. If he's dutiful and the demon is hungry, I guess? Trying to figure out how this works. Okay, so he is dutiful, demon is hungry. We play as the hero. I guess that's true, we haven't played as the hero in the cases where the maiden gets eaten at the beginning. Alright. Cut through the demon army. The Overlord appears, demanding to know what the hell you're doing murdering all of her soldiers. You get straight to the point and ask her where the maiden is. She feigns ignorance, a convincing act, but you won't be fooled. If the maiden isn't here, then what happened to her? You can see only one answer. The Overlord definitely captured her. In fact, it's possible that she's already been devoured. Thinking about that poor maiden's fate fills you with hatred. You fight the Overlord with everything you've got. You become strong from the hordes of demons that you've taken down before this final battle. The Overlord's almost no match for you. You cut her to pieces, and the Overlord has fallen. You breathe a sigh of relief, but your job is not yet finished. You search the castle. Unfortunately, you find no sign of the maiden within its walls. It's just as you suspected. She must have already been devoured. You feel hollow. A great evil's been banished from this world. But what does that matter if you are too weak to save someone? You stand alone amidst the carnage and ponder what it means to be a hero. You return to the Overlord's remains and wrap her head in your cape to bring back to the village. Surely your great victory will be celebrated. Failed hero. Bum bum bum. Let's see here. Okay. Cowardly hero. Okay. Cowardly diplomatic hero with a hungry underling. Alright. Bum bum bum. Bum ba da. Okay, flee like a coward. And then diplomacy. Alright. The Overlord is alone. You ask about the maiden, but the Overlord doesn't seem to know what you're talking about. Was she really never here? You wonder what could have happened to her. The Overlord says that she wishes she could help you, but you're the first human that's come here in forever. At least that she knows of. You think of how you probably shouldn't trust her, seeing as she is a demon and all, but you can't really prove that she's lying either. You apologize for the intrusion and return home to your village. The maiden was never found. Useless hero. Doop doop doop. Boop boop boop. We have something here. Alright, so cowardly, diplomatic, and then possessive? Cowardly, diplomatic, possessive? You're possessive. What about the maiden? Well, I guess if she's possessive, we need to have the maiden alive. Alright, let's try this. Yeah, good catch, kitty. There's nothing to be possessive over if there's no maiden. Okay, we flee. Diplomacy. Ask the maiden what's going on. Alright. You ask the maiden to return to town with you to reassure everyone of her safety. But the Overlord objects to this. The maiden tries to tell her that she'll come right back, but the Overlord refuses to hear it. The maiden seems nervous. As a hero, it's your job to mediate situations like these. You tell the Overlord that if she doesn't let the two of you go, you'll have to assume she's evil, and you'll be forced to vanquish her. You leave me no choice. The Overlord pauses before suddenly jumping you. You're helpless as she disembowels you with her claws. How horrible. You came all this way only to be met with this cruel fate. Well, you should have destroyed these evil creatures while you had the chance. Your dying wish is for the maiden to somehow make it out of this alive. Naive hero. Bum bum bum. Ba ba ba. Okay, so play as the hero, and then let the maiden sacrifice herself. So possessive Overlord, martyr maiden, hero. Something has to be different, right? Okay, heroic. Okay, so not possessive. Heroic. Okay, I think this should be the right combo. Bum ba dum. Ba ba da. Bum ba dum. Alright, you lunge forward to put an end to the evil overlord, but your blade pierces the maiden instead. She has sacrificed herself to protect this demon. It takes you a moment to recover from the shock. The overlord wails. Why did you do that? You're not sure if the question is directed at you. The overlord strikes at you in a vengeful rage. You parry and she is slain. Your sword feels heavy. You look at your hands and your clothes. Blood. So much blood. You look to the fallen maiden, wondering what to tell the townspeople. Why would she protect the overlord? She must have been brainwashed by demonic magic. You pick up the overlord's head, wrapping it in your cape, and begin your long journey back to town. You will say that you were too late, that nothing could be done for the girl, but the overlord is slain. There will be a celebration. Boop boop boop. Doop doop doop. These require something new from the maiden. Well, let's try this combination, so... Okay. Maiden meets the overlord. The overlord's antisocial. Okay. Antisocial. Boop, boop, bop. I'll be polite. The overlord tells you again that you should get lost. How rude, you just got here. Obey her or refuse to leave? You don't want to cause any trouble, so you figure it's time to go home. Along the way you encounter a hero. He asks you what you're doing. Don't you know the overlord's castle is like right there? You explain everything that happened. The hero seems to think that you're lying to him. He asks if you've been brainwashed by the demons. What nerve. You're very upset about this so-called hero that would treat you this way, and you leave in a huff. You return to the village alone. Everyone was very worried about you. They surround you with 1,000 questions, and you tell them your story. As you explain that the overlord never had any intentions to harm anyone here, you notice the looks of uncertainty in the crowd. People are whispering things to each other while you speak to them. You're loudly interrupted by an older man. He rudely calls you a demon sympathizer. The crowd is growing unruly. You don't understand. You've only told them the truth. Do they not believe you? Everyone begins speculating what must have actually happened. They weave elaborate lies and ask you to prove your innocence. How could you have returned without the aid of a hero, they ask? You could not have possibly escaped the overlord on your own without harm. You must be conspiring with the demons, trying to trick everyone to believing they aren't the horrible creatures we know them to be. So they say. Have the people of your village always been this blinded by their fears and hatred of things they've never cared to know? You wonder how you missed that before. You're seized by the crowd and voices from all sides are calling for a public execution. You'd be burned at the stake. You don't want to die. You wonder would it have been better to hide the truth, but you don't like the thought of that. You've always lived honestly, so why has this happened? Why are you being punished? You hear the dissenting voices of your family and neighbors, but they, like you, are powerless against the momentum. They can only watch as you burn, and you can only cry for them. You're so sorry. Executed maiden. Okay, so if we do that, but have the hero trust us. Let's see what happens if the hero trusts us. I imagine that would change it. The hero is very surprised that demons don't seem to be as malicious as you were raised to believe. The two of you return to the village hoping to communicate this to everyone. They'd all been so worried and are very glad the hero brought you back. You quickly set the record straight. You weren't rescued because there was nothing to be rescued from in the first place. The villagers seem confused and look to the hero for an explanation. He tells them that he only ran into you on his way to the castle, and that it really isn't his story to tell. You explain to them how you met the overlord, and that she is not actually interested in capturing maidens or other mean things like that. The villagers look again to the hero for confirmation. You feel a little miffed that they seem to prefer his word over your words, but you don't say anything about it. The hero proclaims that he believes your story, but volunteers to go talk to the demons himself, just to make absolutely sure. The crowd breaks into hushed whispers. You hear words like trickery and demon sympathizer being thrown around, which makes you frown. You're pretty shocked that everyone's as hesitant to believe you. Does the hero even trust you? You aren't so sure anymore. An old man implores the hero to go speak with the Overlord immediately. He says you should be held prisoner and considered dangerous until the hero returns. Much to your disbelief, the crowd agrees with him. Because of course, if you were conspiring with the demons, they can't afford to let their guard down. The whole village would be slaughtered by monsters. The hero wasn't saying anything. You'll be tied up and tossed into a cell at this rate. If you're going to be held captive by anyone, it's going to be the Overlord, not your fellow countrymen. Alright, let's get a bad ending here. You can prove yourself without anyone's help. You make a run for the Overlord's castle, leaving the hero behind. But as you get closer, you start to notice a tower of black smoke darkening the beautiful blue sky. The castle's engulfed in flames. What in God's name could have happened? You scan the flame. Oh wait, this is the same now. Okay. So that's the ending where you go in and try and rescue her. So a different way to get there, but same ending. Boop boop boop. Yum. Yum. Okay, grab the hero and run. You boldly announce that you'll accompany the hero to prove yourself. You'd rather risk what's out there instead of staying in a village that doesn't trust you. No one seems to know how to react. You grab the hero by the wrist and take off before anyone can stop you. As you approach the castle, you notice something's gone terribly wrong. It appears to be on fire. Is the Overlord alright? You have to be sure everyone is safe. You've already taken off before the hero can even think of stopping you. Uh-oh. That's the same ending too. Okay, okay. But what if we make him disloyal? Maybe that will give us more time? Because he'll try and attack her before they do the whole fire thing? Maybe? I don't know. I'll try this. Okay, and that one we get in there and we all get caught on fire. Okay, okay. Alright, one more time. Let's try not obeying her. You put your foot down and tell her you're not going anywhere. You still want to fulfill your destiny, even if you have to make it happen on your own. She's a little frustrated at your stubbornness, but she doesn't kick you out or anything. Hooray! Okay, so that doesn't change much. So it sounds like obedience is probably a good idea. Boop boop boop. Boop boop boop. Boop boop boop. Boop ba ba. What combination should we try now? Maybe from the hero again? Dum-ba-dum. Dum-ba-dum. Alright, believe her story. Alright. We valiantly dash after the maiden towards the Overlord's castle. The air becomes dark and thick as you enter deep into the demon territory. Evil miasma? No, you realize it's just normal smoke. You see the maiden ahead, but she's stopped in her tracks. The Overlord's castle is engulfed in flames. You'd only taken an eye off the maiden for a second, but she's already disappeared. You get closer to the castle, but the smoke is so thick now, you think of turning back. The maiden might need your help, but you can barely see. She could be impossible to find. She could have been lying to you all along. Was this a trap? Would it be worth risking your life on that chance? Your legs feel heavy. No, going in there would be suicide. You return to the villagers. Okay, so that's the same. Scott says, oh, see, now it makes more sense. I see before that there are a decent amount of endings. Yeah, there's like 40-something. There's a lot of endings. Ba-ba-ba. Boop, boop, boop. Yum. Oh, here we go. Okay, okay. You can't back down now. You'll have to be the one to assassinate the Overlord. Besides, no one has any better ideas. You and your friends turned to notice the maiden from earlier has overheard your entire conversation. It'd be bad for you if the Overlord found out about this. Toss her in the dungeon. Use the maiden for killing practice? Toss her in the dungeon. You and your friends seize the maiden and bring her to the dungeon under the castle. It's empty save for the decorative skulls. They're only there to make it feel more spooky. The maiden's very upset. You leave her in the cell to continue scheming with your friends. But now a hero has arrived at the front gates. He's asking about a maiden, perhaps the very one that you just locked up. The gatekeeper, who must have seen everything, tells the hero exactly what happened. What a snitch! What an idiot, you think? Why would you give the hero an excuse to start slaughtering us? The hero yells, "Prepare to face justice!" and other such cliche hero lines, before driving his sword into the gatekeeper's torso. You're small compared to a lot of your friends, so you're able to slip away without getting caught by the sword. You get to thinking, if this hero took down the Overlord for you, well, everything might actually work out in your favor. You wait for things to die down outside before poking your head out. You spot the Overlord and hero locked in battle. They've worn each other down, making this very easy for you. Once an opening presents itself, you hit the back of the hero's head, knocking him out. What are you doing? Couldn't you tell this was a duel? You don't respond. You have to carry out the assassination. You tackle her and rip her to shreds with your claws until she stops moving. You finish off the hero next. You can't let him revive and come after you later. Kind of a cheap victory, but it doesn't make any difference. Anyone who managed to survive comes crawling out of their hiding places. You are the new ruler of this castle. Your subjects bow before you. Oh, so this is the same ending as the other one, too. Interesting. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, ba, ba. Boop, ba, ba. What if we play as the maiden and we get captured? How do I get... Bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Maybe don't be obedient? Was the other one Overlord Underling B? Probably because there's different ways to get there. Refuse to leave. No. I want to go to the dungeon! Okay, let's try this again then. Alright, use the maiden for killing practice. This is just the way it has to be, you declare, before jumping her and clawing her guts out. It turns out that you're already an expert at ending lives. Your friends call you a show-off. You go back to the castle to wash off all the icky human blood. As you're finishing up, you hear the sounds of battle outside. A hero has come. Seeing the dead maiden must have made him pretty angry. Oh, this is gonna be the same now. Yeah. Oh wait, what if we do this? We make him diplomatic. Will he still try and kill the Overlord? Toss her in the dungeon. He still tries to kill the Overlord, I guess? Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Granting the day off. Tell her she'd better go home. The maiden does what she's told and takes her leave. You figure you may as well go back to bed now. But you don't get to rest for very long. You wake up to the sounds of battle. A hero is cutting through your army. As the Overlord, it's your job to take charge in these kinds of situations. You rush out to end this hero's pitiful existence. Vile demons! I shouldn't believe for a second that you were anything but pure evil. I'll exterminate you all. You don't really get what he's going on about, but you engage regardless. A girl's gotta defend her people. You clashed again and again, but the hero wasn't going down easily. You're both dangerously low on health, waiting for the other to make a move, when one of your underlings appears behind him. They knock the hero unconscious. You kind of appreciate it, but can't they see this was a duel? They don't respond, and you sense murderous intent. Your servant tackles you, tearing you apart with their claws, and you struggle to retaliate. They've done too much damage, you can barely move now. Your blood is everywhere. You can't believe this has happened to you. Why has this happened to you? You've been slain by your own underling. Betrayed Overlord. Okay, I don't think we've gotten the hero ending where we get killed. Dum-ba-dum. Dum-ba-dum. Alright. When you reach the gates, you ask the demons if they've seen the maiden. They have. They inform you that she's being held in the dungeon at the moment. She trusts them, and in return they locked her up? So demons are truly evil beings after all. You demand they take you to her, but they do not let you pass. You should have expected as much from these unreasonable creatures. You know what you must do. You thrust your blade through the demon before you and rush the castle alone. You're the only one who can save the maiden now. What the heck are you doing, killing all my soldiers? The Overlord's angry. You vow to exterminate her and all of demonkind. Oh, so I guess we did get that ending before. I didn't get an achievement, so... What if we make him not disloyal? What if we try this? Bum-ba-dum. 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 No? Doop-doop-doop. Bup-bup-bup. Alright, I gotta use my cheat sheet here. Okay, so... the maiden overhears the underling's plot to get the Overlord and goes back to warn her. There should be a different ending here we can get. So what route do we take here? Antisocial Overlord. Hero is a coward. Maiden is obedient. Hero is trusting. Maiden is resolute. Underling is disloyal. Wait. Resolute. Disloyal. Like this? Okay. Boop, boop, boop. Alright, let's try this. Okay, we flee. We believe the maiden. Alright. So the villagers want him to leave the maiden here and have him go investigate the castle, and he feels like it's a bad idea. As you stand there not sure what to do, the maiden announces that she's going to prove her story to the village. She drags you along with her. She has much better odds with you around, so you don't object. Adventure awaits. When you make it to the castle, you spy a group of suspicious demons hanging around near the entrance, and you can't help but overhear their conversation. They're talking about assassinating their overlord. This proves to you that demons really are foul creatures. We have to tell her about this. You don't understand what the maiden is thinking. The world's better off with less demons. They're all cold, ruthless creatures that should be destroyed. And those same creatures have just noticed you eavesdropping. The maiden takes off into the castle, and you have no choice but to follow. You burst into the Overlord's room. The maiden frantically tries to communicate what you just overheard. A demon underling barges in next, calling you liars. It's followed by the group from the entrance, who shifts the blame back onto the little one. These demons only care about themselves. How low can they be? You begin shouting at them, and the whole room dissolves into noise until the Overlord yells for everyone to shut their traps. She threatens them with violence. This Overlord's no better than her subjects. You grip your sword tightly. If you have to cut through everyone here to get the maiden to safety, you certainly will. The group of demons hiss to each other before shutting the door, leaving the runt of the litter behind. You glance around for another exit, but there isn't one. You have a terrible feeling about this. In an instant, the whole room is in flames. What kind of demonic magic is this? The underling pounds within the door, upset that it's been betrayed. You join it, vowing to slay the cowardly demons on the other side. The next moment, the Overlord has taken hold of the underling and is crying for mercy. She thrusts her claws into the underling's chest and lets out a horrible scream. You back away. You won't be the next target of her rage. She continues to dig and twist her claws into its limp body. You can no longer watch. You look to the maiden. She's crying, hands clasped together in prayer. To have faith in time like this, you envy her. The two of you, the Overlord and the underling's corpse, are all consumed by flames. Yeah, we've seen all of them get burnt now. There's only one hero ending left. And it requires something different from the Overlord, it looks like. Yeah, we're still missing an option from the Overlord, huh? Oh, wait. Oh, oops. Okay. Maiden. We still have a bunch of endings for her. Okay, so... yeah. if the demon's hungry, it's always game over. Okay, so... let's go up this top route first, I guess. So, Maiden is obedient. The hero is trusting. Disloyal and captor. The hero trusting. Disloyal and captor. Obedient. Antisocial. Let's try this. This right? Obey her. Resolute. No, how do I do this? We're missing something. Now to see if our bread is okay after 4 days? Bread? Did you make some bread, kitty? The maiden returns to see the Overlord alone. How do I go to see him alone? Go to see her alone, though? Because it seems like I always die if I do that. Alright, let's try it. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, leave on our own. A suspicious group of demons stands just outside the entrance. They're talking about assassinating the Overlord. They immediately notice that you overheard them and decide to lock you in the dungeon before you can cause any trouble. You cry out, but the demons ignore your protests. You can't believe you escaped possibly being thrown in a cell back in your village, only to be tossed in this awful place. This is terrible. Who's going to keep those demons from harming the Overlord? You hope she can fend for herself. You sure can't. You hear the sounds of battle echoing through the halls outside. Did the hero follow you? If he's out there, your cries don't reach him. After a while, the violence seems to die down, and it's impossible to tell what happened. You continue to wait, but no one comes for you. Unable to escape, you rot in the cell. I think that's the worst ending for her. No more than the bread? Woohoo! Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, disloyal but not captor. Leave on our own. The demons immediately notice that you survived, or notice that you overheard them. The underling you recognize from before is the first to do something about it. Well, this is just the way it has to be. They suddenly attack you. In that moment, you regret having ever trusted the demons. You die instantly. Well, that was fast. Boop boop bop. Bop bop bop. Bop bop bop. Bop bop bop. Okay, let's go for these two down here now. Okay, so the maiden does not obey. The hero is diplomatic. And the Overlord is possessive. Diplomatic. Not obedient. Possessive. Okay, I guess we'll try this. Alright, so the hero wants us to return to the village. The Overlord objects to the hero's suggestion. You tell her you plan on returning soon, but she isn't having it. You feel nervous. The hero puts on a brave face for you. Well, if you won't let her go, maybe you demons are evil after all. And if you are, I'll be forced to vanquish you. You leave me no choice. The Overlord suddenly jumps the hero, and she tears into him with her claws. You want to cry out, but the screams catch in your throat. You watch because you can't look away. Has she really been lying to you all along, you wonder? Is this your punishment for questioning the divine plan? The Overlord approaches you now, and you back yourself into a corner. Her expression is complicated. Being captured by the Overlord in a horrible way like this was your destiny after all. She vows to keep you very safe from now on. You're afraid to find out what that means, but there's no one left to save you. You belong to the Overlord now. Bum, bum. Okay, so same option, but with the underling being disloyal. Bum bum bum. Boop, boop, ba. Alright. So the Overlord kills the hero, but then the Overlord stops, or rather someone has stopped her. Whatever held back your scream before doesn't stop you this time. The Overlord is being ripped to shreds by one of her demon underlings. You think you recognize them, but it's hard to tell with all of the blood. Everyone stopped moving now. The room is silent, save for the underlings' heavy breathing. You thank them for what they've done, even though it was awful, and you feel like you've been rescued from a terrible fate. They look at you confused for a moment, but then puff out their chest. You should probably go home. This place is dangerous. You follow their advice and make your way out of the castle. You decide never to leave home again for the rest of your life. Ah, the agoraphobia ending. So I assume this last ending is gonna be like the true ending. Let's try and do all the others first. Okay, so this is basically the same scene, but from the underling's point of view, actually. Bum, 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 bum. You sneak up to the Overlord's room, but there's a couple of humans in there. You watch the scene unfold. You aren't sure why, but the Overlord suddenly cuts down the hero. She approaches the maiden you brought to her earlier. With the Overlord distracted, you figure this is as good of a chance as any. You launch a sneak attack, getting her right in the back. She flinches, giving you enough advantage to take her down. You rip the Overlord apart until she stops moving. That was messier than you would have liked. The maiden mutters something from the corner. Thank you for saving me. It wasn't your intention, but it sounds like you did something heroic. You tell the maiden to go home. This place is dangerous. She follows your advice and leaves the castle. Your castle. You are the new Overlord. Heroic underling ending. Bum, bum. So the last one will be the true ending. Alright, so now we just have Overlord. Okay, so... not tyrant. Not antisocial. Hero is dutiful and heroic. Dutiful, heroic. Okay, let her stay. You feel a sudden sharp pain through your back. You look down to see a blade protruding from your chest. Oh, that was careless of you. So this is how you die, stabbed in the back by some cowardly hero. What a joke. You're supposed to be the ruthless one. That's right, humans can't be trusted. Not if this is what they're capable of. You should have remembered that before letting one in. You watch as the hero takes the maiden's hand, leading her through the sea of corpses he'd left in his wake. Captured by a demon, at least she got what she came here for. You join your army in eternal slumber. Okay. Tyrant, hungry, dutiful. Tyrant, hungry, dutiful. You awake to a huge commotion outside. A hero has shown up and started totally murdering your soldiers. What the hell, guy? You rush out to the battlefield to confront this jerkwad. You curse at him and very rudely inquire his reasons for doing all this. The hero yells at you, demanding you return the maiden you're holding captive. You don't know what he's talking about, but you can't forgive his actions. You do battle with the hero, but he's grown strong from cutting down your army. You're unable to defeat him. With decisive swings, he stabs and cuts you to pieces. You fall. You failed your subjects. You spit curses weakly. You wish you'd been stronger. Maybe you were never suited to be the overlord in the first place. The truth was, you were never that much more powerful than the demons who served you. It was the title, the control that gave you strength. These are your thoughts as you're swallowed by darkness. The conquered overlord. Okay, so this time, not tyrant. Not tyrant, not antisocial. Diplomatic. Not possessive. Trusting, resolute, disloyal. Wait a minute. Trusting, resolute. Wait, let me read this again. Oh, hi Mooney! Hello, hello! How are you doing? I'm collecting the very last couple of endings. Trusting. Diplomatic, okay. Alright, let's do this. Bum, bum, bum. Any favorite bad ends so far? Not sure. There was one just recently though where the hero came and killed the overlord, and then the overlord thought that the maiden got what she wanted being captured by a demon, implying that the hero was the demon. I'm like, alright, I like that. That's some good writing right there. Okay, don't be possessive. Eh? Where'd I go wrong? Did something wrong. Trusting and resolute. Okay. I think because I didn't have the underling as disloyal? Maybe? Yeah. Oh, wrong character. Oh, shoot. Wait. Go back. It's faster to skip through it. Okay, this should do it. Okay, don't be possessive. The maiden suddenly bursts into your room, accompanied by a hero. She's trying to frantically communicate something to you, but you're still half asleep. They tell you that a group of demons is after your life. You still don't grasp the urgency of the situation. One of your underlings barges in next, shouting that the humans are liars. They're followed by another group of demons, crying that everything was the first underling's plan. Everyone's shouting over each other now, and it's very annoying. You yell for all of them to shut their traps. You've no doubt that your servants will let their ambition cloud their judgment and lead them to try and take your throne. Regardless of who led this conspiracy, I have no choice but to punish everyone, to keep you all in your place, crushed beneath my heel. Saying that made you feel very overlord-like. You aren't sure if you have the strength to back it up, though. Lately all you do is sleep. The group of demons start muttering something about going back to Plan A and suddenly slam your door shut. You, the maiden, the hero, and one of your underlings are trapped inside. In an instant, the whole room is in flames. The underling pounds on the door, cursing at their friends for betraying them. The hero pounds on the door as well, vowing to slay the cowardly demons on the other side. So this is how you'll die, burned alive in your own room by those you thought you could trust. You should have expected this from a bunch of idiot demons, though. You notice the maiden crying. Why does she have to die over something that has nothing to do with her? Perhaps she was cursed from the moment she spoke to you. You wonder if you're cursed as well. You're so filled with anger and frustration, you don't even notice that you've grabbed the underling those traitors blamed everything on. They cry for mercy, saying they were just dragged into this plot, knowing they'd be killed if they took your side. They cried that they didn't want to have to kill you. You almost feel sorry for them. Ooh, alright. Bad end first. You pierce their chest with your claws and they scream. The hero backs away. He's wise not to interfere. They've stopped moving, but you keep digging and twisting your claws into them. It doesn't make you feel any better. The underling's corpse burns along with you and the two humans. Spiteful overlord, okay. I think this will be the good one now. If there is a good one. You release the underling. Killing them wouldn't make you feel any better. Besides, they've already gotten their punishment. You'll all burn together. Overlord's true end. Before you're taken back to reset the story once again, you pause for a moment. True end, you say to yourself? What was the point of all my effort if the true end is this terrible? You must have forgotten where you were. This is bad end theater. Is the pain setting in? Oh, but you should have been well aware of what you'd be shown when you entered this place. It's a problem I've seen quite often. At some point, you grew attached to my little cast. You started to relate to their flaws, their plights. You started wishing for their happiness. But you aren't going to find that here in my theater, my lovingly crafted labyrinth of suffering. Anyway, I hope you'll pardon the interruption. You're making great progress. The choice to continue on to the next ending is always yours. I'll leave you to it, dear guest. A letter flutters down from beyond the curtain. You found lost letter number 4. Lost letter? We still have some endings missing. So it's the same thing, basically. But for each of these characters. Nyum! Nyum! To your surprise, the Overlord spares you. Or maybe she'd rather see you suffer instead, looking around. You've just gone from one dead end to another. The maiden is crying and the hero is silent. You'll all burn together. Underling's true end. No matter the perspective, the true ending remains the same. Well, that's what makes it true. You couldn't resist seeing it for yourself, though, could you? I wonder what will happen when you collect them all. Will you give in to despair, or... Another letter? How do I read letters? How do I read? Oh, over here! My love, do you remember when we first met? I had just finished one of my scripts, one I was quite proud of, in fact. As I read it aloud, you happened to pass by. What a terrible ending, you said. Why should these poor fools have to die? You were so rude. You wouldn't accept any of my justifications, and yet, you managed to convince me. It really would be better if everyone could live in harmony, however unrealistic that felt. I look back fondly on that day even now. I wonder if, somewhere, you're thinking of it too. Forever yours, Tragedy. My love, I've been feeling a little depressed lately. Many patrons have come to my theater, but none so far have stayed to experience every tale in its entirety. Yeah, I have a quote bot. Yep. It's... quote, get a random one, and then you can do quote and then space add to add something. Stretch time and a glub glub. Okay, 1 second. And a glub glub. The critics haven't exactly been kind, but I understand. My stories aren't exactly crowd pleasers. Despite that, you always listen to the very end, and I'm grateful for that. Hope to see you again soon. Forever yours, Tragedy. Are they writing to comedy? They're writing to comedy, aren't they? I'm calling it now. Boop boop boop. Bum bum bum. Bum bum bum. Bum bum bum. Doop doop doop. Bum bum bum. Is this the right combination? The Overlord has walked past the hero and out into the hall. She's wailing. You can only guess what kind of horrible scene he's left for her. Ah, I didn't do diplomacy. Oops. Oh no. Wait. Diplomacy. Not dutiful. Try again. The Overlord spares the underling. You feel relieved, but does it make any difference? Will you all burn together? The true end. A letter flutters down from beyond the curtain. It can't end like this. Keep collecting bad endings for now. Need one more, right? My love, I have finally fulfilled a childhood dream of mine. Yes, that's right, I opened up my very own theater. You'd be so proud if you could only see it. I know how much it would have meant to you to be at my side on opening night. I'm sorry for going on ahead without you, but I thought, if my theater could become world famous, then maybe you just might hear of it, wherever you are. Forever yours, Tragedy. Ba-ba-ba. Boo-boo. Bum-ba-dum. Bum-ba-dum. Okay, you pause when you see a group of suspicious demons standing near the entrance. They're talking about assassinating their overlord. This proves to you that demons really are foul creatures. Yum. Is the overlord going to kill the underling as retribution? It continues to cry and make excuses, but the overlord does nothing. To your surprise, she lets it go. Are demons capable of mercy? You guess it doesn't matter now. They'll all burn together. Letter number 1. My love, it just isn't fair at all, is it? For them to force us apart like this. It's unreasonable, cruel. I had to find an outlet for this grief somehow. So I decided to write, and I'll keep writing until the day you find me once more. And then, maybe we could write a story together. I'm waiting for that day. Forever yours, Tragedy. It seemed like we got the option to do something different on the Maiden route. Let's try Maiden again. It can't end like this. You want to answer the Maiden's prayers. You've decided to find a way to save everyone. But retracing the paths you've seen so far, there doesn't seem to be any room to avoid a bad ending. Is there really nothing you can do to keep them all from getting killed in the end? If there's nothing you can do by acting from within their story, maybe it's time to take things into your own hands. Whoa! You boldly insert yourself into the story, and use your incredible power to warp everyone to safety. You didn't know you could do that, but what's going on here? You take a moment to get a good look at yourself. You are you, but why are you pitch black? You feel that this body doesn't accurately represent you, but you move past it. The hero, maiden, underling, and overlord have been staring at you too. Fanfiction timing? They look like they don't really know what they're supposed to be doing right now. You guess that's because you're usually the one guiding them. What will you say to them? I've come to save you. You explain to the group that you've been witnessing their terrible intertwining fates, and now you're searching for a good ending. Of course, this makes no sense to any of them. Only the maiden understands your compassion. My prayers have been answered! You must be... her god? No, you're merely the player. If there was any god here, they'd be the final boss. That's just how these role-playing games go. Now you realize what the true ending must be. Now, enough of this. I admit I've been encouraging you all along, but a self-insert story? How passe? Passe? Pronunciation.
Passe.
How passe? You watch helplessly as tragedy descends from the heavens. You didn't honestly believe you were the only one who could force your way onto the stage, did you? I am the narrator, storyteller, god of this world. Call me Tragedy if you'd like. Darkness envelops your party. You don't mind if I send each of them back to relive one of their many bad endings, right? You are alone in the darkness with me, Tragedy. I sincerely hope you've been enjoying your time in my theater, though I can't abide you stealing the show without my permission. It's quite disrespectful. I want to see something new. Are you trying to say that my bad endings have gone out of style? You have some nerve. You think defeating me might be the only way to see a better ending. It's all that's left for you, isn't it? Well, that does sound like it could be entertaining. Show me what you've got. Time to fight God. The stage is set for your final battle against me, the god of this world. What will you do? How will you fight against tragedy itself? I'd love to see it. You try your best to tear me down, but you can't seem to do any damage. You don't truly exist in this world after all. Oh, is that all? You'll never defeat me like that. Wait, let me try again! You try closing off your heart to protect yourself, but it doesn't make you feel any better. Perhaps you don't understand just how outclassed you are here. Behold, my beautifully tragic tales. Doesn't seeing them all again make your heart ache? You've witnessed all 41 of my painstakingly crafted endings. You must be as much of a masochist as me. I commend your thoroughness. Surely these characters have a special place in your heart. They're still suffering backstage, you know. It's a shame they couldn't make it here to the end of the world. That's right, you came here to save them. You can't do this alone. You find the hero in his home, hunched over a sewing table. Your sudden intrusion scares the hell out of the poor guy. Are you some kind of demon? You explain that no, you're not a demon, well, how can you explain it in a way that the hero can understand? Instead, you ask what he's sewing. Oh, this? I craft all my own hero gear. You sense his pride in his hobby. You wonder if the costumes are what attracted him to the role of hero. Would you like some clothes? You don't seem to be wearing any. You remember the state of your body and decide that, yes, some clothes from the hero would be nice. He's overjoyed by your answer. Apparently his outfits are too gaudy for the other townsfolk, so no one else wants them. The true end for the hero suddenly becomes clear. You offer to change his fate. I could make a living as a tailor rather than a hero? Please, tell me what I can do to reach that dream. The hero will now fight alongside you. I agree to follow you, but I didn't expect to face something like this. The hero has arrived. We really couldn't have a final boss battle without him. You're the one who's been killing us. Murderer! I can't truly call myself a hero until I see you defeated. We'll see about that. Tragedy attacks with terrible fate. Summon! I'm gonna need the power of friendship. You happen to find the maiden as she exits the church, her heart set on meeting a demon. Perfect timing. She approaches you, having already taken notice of your odd form. Excuse me, are you a traveler? I've never seen anyone like you before. You explain that no, you're not a traveler. Well, maybe you are in a sense, you've come all this way. The maiden regards you with excited curiosity. Then perhaps you might be a demon? I was hoping I would meet one today. You think of all the terrible fates that hope would bring about. She is the catalyst of the story, after all. My role as a maiden is to be captured by the Overlord, but you see, I've grown so tired of waiting. You remember this part. She wanted to understand her role better, and so... You ask what it is that she's really hoping to gain from this. The maiden is confused by your question. Perhaps it was as simple as wanting to reach the place she felt like she belonged. The true end for this maiden suddenly becomes clear. You offer to change her fate. If there's something I can do to find fulfillment, then please guide me. What is this horrible creature? You wound me, dear maiden. Is tragedy really such a terrible thing to behold? I remember now. I remember all of the awful things you put us through. Well, then this should be familiar to you as well. Tragedy attacks with a terrible fate. You approach the gates of the Overlord's castle. The underling is on guard duty, as expected. They call out to you. The other demon guard is sound asleep. Hey, you're a pretty weird-looking intruder. What do you want? You explain that no, you're not an intruder, although you're definitely kind of intruding in their story right now. You tell the underling that you've come to save them from tragedy. Okay, try saving me from boredom first. I hate this job. The underling snickers. You ask what kind of job they'd rather have. It'd be best if I didn't have to work at all. I just want to live a carefree life, and never get bossed around or picked on. You think of the underling's friends, who had bullied them into an assassination plot only to betray them in the end. If they kept better company, maybe they wouldn't feel so restless. The true end for the underling suddenly becomes clear. You offer to change their fate. There's a way that even work can be fun? Well, that sounds fake, but I'll tag along with you just in case. Your HP is equal to how many bad endings you've seen? Oh, that's cool. Wait, what the heck? You didn't say anything about boss battle. The underling, You must be desperate to call on such an unreliable ally. Huh. If I beat this guy up, all my problems will be over. Oh, but it won't be that easy. Now we need our Overlord. You enter the Overlord's room, relieved to see the fire contained to the torches on the walls. When you close the door behind you, the Overlord rises from her slumber. Who are you? Have you come to reside in my castle and serve me? You explain that no, you're not here to serve her. It's more like you've come to do her a favor. You ask why she spends all day sleeping instead of commanding her demon army. She laughs in response. Many of my underlings certainly think I should be more aggressive with the humans, like my father before me. His quest for revenge was endless and self-perpetuating. There's a reason I had to destroy him. You can't help but think it's a little late in the game to be getting some new backstory. Well, I have no interest in waging war on the humans. I merely wish to be left alone to live a peaceful, indulgent life in my castle. You realize she must actually be very lonely, only surrounded by soldiers instead of friends. No wonder she gets so attached to the maiden. She destroyed her own father? Yeah, she's got Alucard syndrome. The true end for the Overlord suddenly becomes clear. You offer to change her fate. My own attempts at peace have been rather imperfect. If you offer a solution, then very well, I'll follow you. I see, so this is tragedy. Ah, you've brought the Overlord. I don't stand a chance now. You prevented me from attaining peace for so long. Prepare to die. I hope you're prepared to face your deaths as well. Now that the whole party's here, can you solve my final puzzle? Which combination of behaviors will open the path to your true ending? Show me! The maiden tries to appeal to tragedy with kindness. So naive, I'll balance your kindness with my cruelty. Eh? Hope? Our true endings do exist. They simply must. The maiden hopes with all of her heart to overcome tragedy. Tragedy's reeling. Willpower? Your reign of terror ends here, Tragedy. I refuse to give in. The hero uses his willpower to overcome tragedy. Knock me down, I'll just come back stronger. He gets knocked down, but he gets back up again. Ambition? I'll reach my true ending with my own power. The Overlord uses her ambitious nature to overcome tragedy. This is it. With everyone's hearts united, you take aim toward your best possible futures. You all unleash one final attack to destroy tragedy once and for all. You've done it. You've managed to defeat me. A tragic ending for tragedy itself. I love it. I must thank you all for fulfilling your roles perfectly. Thank you, hero. Thank you, maiden. Thank you, underling. Thank you, overlord. Enough of this nonsense. We defeated you, so die already. Don't worry, I'll be making my exit shortly. And finally, thank you most of all. We couldn't have made it here without you. Yes, my bad end theater did contain a truly good ending after all. I apologize for antagonizing you for so long. I wanted to deliver a satisfying story. Was I able to do it? I wonder. No. Well, I did my best. Happy endings shouldn't always come easily. Reality is not so kind. But you've earned this one. Here's your true ending. But we didn't get to see. No, I thought if I said no, because tragedy is basically like this is basically like death by heroes party, right? It's like the whole like death by cop thing, but this was death by heroes party. They forced me to kill them. Yeah? Sounds like Vocaloid. So I said Eleanor Forte or something? Maybe it... But maybe that's just the composer? I love when games have ending songs. Is there no ending where you can save tragedy? Something's missing. Oh, you're still here? The curtain is closed for the final time. I'm shutting down my theater. There's no more tragedies left for me to tell after all. There is one more. Me? You'd like to know why I started this theater? Because I'm obsessed with bad endings, of course. You gently raise your fingers to the cracks in my mask. Piece by piece it falls apart into your hands, revealing... Well, I should have warned you, this might affect what you think of my stories. You can't help but compare my face to the maiden's. I'm not her, but it's not like she isn't me necessarily. Well, that's how it is with fiction. Would you like to hear, not another ending, but the truth? Tell me. Alright, one last story. You may already know this, but it doesn't have a happy ending. First, I'll set the stage. In this world, there's no such things as demons or even heroes, really. There was a girl eager to set out to fulfill some sort of destiny, that part was true. She met someone, another girl. A running theme, isn't it? The maiden and the overlord. The two were inseparable, and for a time, everything was just wonderful. But their families, the communities they came from, neither could approve of the relationship. That's the reality for many, and this pair was no different. Despite their best efforts, the world was intent on pulling them apart. We used to like the types of stories where love conquers all. where the strength of your love will pull you through any hardship and everything is okay in the end. I lost her, and then I started this theater. But this story... Huh? I was hoping to find you. It's you! It's been so long. I thought I'd never see you again. You always think of the worst endings. I wasn't about to give up just because things got difficult. Why didn't you reveal yourself sooner? I feel like such a fool. I could say the same to you. You knew I could never resist giving your stories a happy ending. So of course I'd be drawn to a place like this. Yes, but... I didn't think it would actually work. Sometimes everything does turn out okay in the end. Thank you for reminding me of that. I love you. I love you too. Now, truly, everyone can live happily ever after. Tragedies end. Lesbians! We did it. The true ending was lesbians. I assume that's everything now, right? There's nothing more to see, my love, but if you'd like to reset. If you really want to experience everything all over again, I'm happy to oblige. Shall we begin the resetting process? Nope. You're so fickle. Let me know if you change your mind. Woo! We did it, friends! It's not often we beat a game in one stream. But this was short and sweet. Alright, friends. Let's go raid Tori. Looks like she is also wrapping up a game. She's playing Lost and Found Company. We'll go raid Tori. Thank you so much for keeping me company, guys. I hope you enjoyed the game. I know I did. Tomorrow I'll be over on the Moe YouTube channel for Phasmophobia, which is the second time I've ever played it, so I'm expecting to get killed by ghosts. Alright, everyone, what should we do for our raid message? The true ending was lesbians raid. Alright, everyone! Have a good rest of your— How do you read letters? Oh, wait. The true ending. Okay. We can do how do you read letters raid. How do you read letters raid? Okay, that's the message now. We got it. How do you read letters raid? Alright, everyone, have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow, maybe over on the Moe Live YouTube channel. If not, maybe I'll see you back here on Friday for Artificial Nexus. Alright, bye-bye, everyone! Bye-bye!